Welcome, Gemini, to your Gemini November 2020 tarot reading and forecast. It's great to see the subscribers back again. Lots of love and energy going to you. So I appreciate you stopping by again. Do you know, if you would like to have a personal clairvoyant reading with me, then just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, I'm going to use a Russian deck today for you. I'm going to draw 5 cards. Now, this deck was painted by a miniature artist. Very difficult to do miniature paintings, but this was done by a guy called Yuri Sharkov. Now, Yuri Sharkov was, there's the Knight of Swords, was back in the former Soviet Union and put this together. There's the Ten of Cups, and he died back in the 80s. There's the Ten of Swords. Now, we shall have a look at this here. You are coming out the King of Coins. Gee, the Knight of Swords, the King of Coins. Finally, this one. The Four of Coins, most excellent indeed. Gemini, why don't you come down and have a look at these paintings with me? Well, they talk to me, and I'll tell you what they say for you. Now, next month's reading will be published on the 11th of November at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. Now, I'm looking at this Ten of Swords here. So many good cards around it. What is the purpose of this Ten of Swords? Let me just let it seep into me for a moment, and then I'll come up with something. But let's look first at this one, which is the Knight of Swords. Well, the Prince of the Chariots of the Winds. Now, I think there's a lot of Aquarius around here at the moment, and a lot of Capricorn. Now, I think what this is saying to you is that during this period you will be quite intellectual, I think, full of ideas and plans, very clever. Just make sure that that cleverness is directed towards something which is stable and practical. Now, I have to say there is a chance that you might be quite domineering during this period, and some people might find you elusive, possibly impressionable from other people here. There's a lot of creative thinking, cutting through of all entanglements and becoming free of limited ideas and models. You will have a very clear perception. Now, if it's somebody else in your life, I think that this is someone who, now this knight is air, and he's in the suit of swords, which is air, so there is a lot of air around here, a lot of activity, but not plans. And it suggests that this is somebody who is not really in control at the moment. Someone who, when the creative process works, it works well, but it's not grounded in anything. And so they can very rarely have anything that turns into fruitful outcome. Now, the person I think that is symbolized by this is purely intellectual and full of ideas which tumble over each other. Now, he, but of course it can be a she, because these court cards are interchangeable, but I'll refer to it as a he because it is a knight. He is a mass of fine ideals unrelated to practical effort. He is clever, but unstable of purpose, and actually personally indifferent to any of his ideas, knowing that any one of them is just as good as any other. He reduces to things to unreality by sucking the actual facts out of things and converting them into unsustainable ideas. That may well be somebody that you know out there. But as for you, also this, I think that this is saying that your intellect is highly developed, and you will love thinking, questioning, and philosophizing. You'll be good at creating ideas quickly, but be careful that you don't move on without developing them, because his intellect can be draining to those who can't keep up with him. I think people might find you, interestingly, independent, private, and possibly difficult to get to know. Some people may think, and just be aware of this, that you lack emotional warmth or empathy. This can indicate the need to slow down and analyze your thoughts to see if something practical can be gained from them. Free yourself from whatever limits your mind and spirit. Be sure you express your ideas and plans in ways that other people will understand, and accept their opinions humbly. Your thinking may be way ahead of its time, but you can adjust to make your vision workable in the present without sacrificing anything. What beliefs, feelings, relationships, or programmed ideas do you allow to limit you? And say to yourself, my creative possibilities have no limits, but I will remember always to ensure that they are grounded. Well, let us now turn directly to this Ten of Swords, which is in the middle of the spread. Now, I think that this is here for something to you to think about. I see it as something that's not connected with the other cards, and so it comes here almost as a message. Now, astrologically, it is the sun ruling the third decan of your sign, Gemini. And here, the sun in Gemini is difficult as your sign disperses its energy, and there is a possibility that your focus may be dispersed as well. The focus here is entirely on the intellect, and it can be unstable. But remember that this 10 is about to go into the next suit. It is about to go into the Ace of Discs, which is about great prosperity and moving things forward. But this is a time, I think, when you are just sitting down and musing something in your head. Now, ordinarily, this can be a bad card, but in your situation, I'm not quite so sure that it is. Now, it can, though, and this is something I think this is the reason why it's here. I think it's pointing to a fear of the destructive energy of accumulated anger and perhaps of negative thinking on your behalf. Sometimes one might think, and these times that we live in at present can give rise to thoughts of problems, to thoughts of fear, I suppose. And so ask yourself, what are your greatest fears? And how would the total destruction of your life look? And if you then consider what the total destruction would look like, you know that there is no chance at all of that happening. But say to yourself, I invite the positive into my life and welcome it wholeheartedly. Do you know, spiritual and sacred works from around the world have things to say because they are put together by people who have brains the size of a planet, and they form part of our culture. Now, there is one sacred text known as the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible, and in the book of Psalms, I'm pretty sure it's Psalm 35, verse 34, it says, "Take up my cause, O Lord my God, as you are beneficent, and let them not rejoice over me." Now, you invoke that for assistance in the face of some adversity. The auspicious time to do it actually is between 20 to 6 and 6 a.m. in the morning. It allows knowledge of truth to surface and innocence to triumph, and abundance and fruitfulness will fill your being. There's also a power of procreation associated with that as well. Now, sometimes our thoughts give rise to or reflect some pain that we feel that we have endured. Not a physical pain, but a pain of the heart and a pain of the mind. But I think what this here is sitting here is to remind you that your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding, even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy, and you would accept the seasons of your heart, even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your home, and you would watch with serenity through the winters of your grief. Now, much of your pain is self-chosen. It is the bitter potion by which the doctor within you heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the doctor and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility. For his hand, though heavy and hard, is guided by the tender hand of the unseen. And the cup he brings, though it burns your lips, has been fashioned in the clay which the potter has moistened with his own sacred tears. Well, let us look at the Lord of the wild and fertile land, this King of Coins. Now, what do you have to say to me, King of Coins? What do you have to say for my Gemini friend here? Well, I think the land is going to have some sort of connection with you during this period. Nature is going to be connected with you. I think that this is saying that this is a time to be patient, to be a hard worker, to be clever. Use that fine mind of yours, Gemini. And this is a time also for healing. I'm getting the feeling of doctor around here. So very much that time of healing that Ten of Swords referred to. It's a time of work and toil in preparation for the harvest. I think that this is a time for you to use your instinct and use a good work ethic which brings results over the longer term. Now, there's no air present in this card, and so it's not an intellectual energy, this. Rather, I think it's asking you to use your work ethic to get through things rather than over-intellectualizing things. You will, again, I think, have a deep connection with the earth during this period. So I think that what we're talking about here is this work ethic of yours is going to persist against even what you may consider to be long odds, and you will triumph at the end of this period of work. The implication here is of a work commitment over a longer period of time. So he's very much helped by that persistence that's being given here. I think you'll be very good at practical things here. And you have fortune on your side, plus courage and prudence. So success is going to come. Now is the time to set your abilities to work. Maybe in service of some kind. The tasks before you might think are large, and they'll demand the use of all your powers, but if you make the effort, the harvest will reward you richly. And ask yourself this: are there any tasks you would like to avoid in your life? Whenever things seem to be too much trouble for you, concentrate on the positive results of your actions for you and for other people. Your internal learning and growing process is the most important outcome, more important than that which you achieve by your actions. And say this to yourself: with every task that comes my way comes also the energy needed to accomplish it. Yep, it's going to be a very good month for you. I can see that in here. Now, let's have a look at this Lord of Perfected Success, shall we? This is the Ten of Cups, as most people know it. Let me have a look here. Well, the first thing that I'll say is this, is that for me, it is the planet Mars ruling the third decan of Pisces at 9th to the 19th of March. Now, Mars can be disruptive, and so it can conflict with peaceful Pisces. But what I'm getting here is satisfaction, fulfillment, radiating out from you. The other things I think that it's saying to me is that there's going to be a great degree of emotional stability around you. Possibly someone's going to find their dream home, I think. It's talking of a very happy family unit and family gathering at this time, and your dreams becoming a reality. But I'm going back again to that Mars in Pisces, and Mars can be disruptive. And it can be disruptive of the scene of great emotional fulfillment, because there is a great deal of emotional passion and vitality here. But there may be at some point where there is a sort of with that Mars in Pisces, it suggests that at some point there may be a fleeting sort of happiness, a happiness which is short-lived and which has lost its ability to fulfill you. Now, what I'm thinking of here are actually consumer things, like a pair of shoes or a handbag or a video game or a new cell phone or something like that. You think it will make you happy, but then you get bored and you want to move on to the next thing. Now, in a relationship setting, it can relate to, on the surface, a loss of pleasure in what the relationship brings. But I think that's because if we look at the cup here and we have love flowing into the cup, there's a point at which the cup becomes full, isn't there? So no matter how much other emotional fulfillment is tipped into the cup, it just flows over the sides. And so what you have to do is to alter the dynamic of the relationship. Alter the dynamic, enlarge the cup. It's not that you're not happy, but you're full. And so in some respects, you have come, whether it's a consumer thing or a relationship which needs reinvigorating, you have come to the end of the pleasure that it's able to provide you. Well, then that takes us then to the Lord of Earthly Power. Hello, Lord of Earthly Power, otherwise called the Four of Coins by most people. Now here, I have the Sun in the third decan of Capricorn, and 13th to the 21st of January. Now, Capricorn. Well, Capricorn is a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sign. And those with Sun in Capricorn have a realistic, grounded approach to life, don't they? And this can be seen, really, no matter how dreary the rest of their birth chart happens to be. But what I see here for you is the Sun energizing the Capricorn Earth, and material benefits or power accruing to you are going to be the result. The Sun in astrology is also the symbol of your dynamism or power, and Capricorn is the application of that power in a useful way. There is a sense for me that this is a very material card. Very material, that life, I think, for you actually is going to turn out to be quite orderly and secure, but it might seem to be barren and discontented to you at the moment. And there's coins flying around everywhere. It seems to me that you think things are being lost from your grasp. You may be tested not to give your personal power away, and you need to discriminate about where and to whom to say no. Sometimes you need to close the door to this room, close the door, and stay within your inner sanctuary so you don't give too much of yourself away. But I am seeing financial and material security as being very important to you at this time, and that solid foundations are in place. It may well be that you start to build up assets as a result of sound judgment or wise investment. You are willing to work for what you want, and you will have confidence in applying yourself to the world. You are a dependable person who acts with integrity. And this is talking to me also of the fulfillment of your personal goals and ambitions. Is your life, your behavior, rigid? Or does your life, your behavior, need more order, structure, and solidarity? say to yourself, because this is such a great time here, remember to pay it forward. Remember to pay things forward always. That I offer my power in the service of love. What a fantastic set of cards. Well done, Gemini. That's it for you this month. Well, I, for one, really enjoyed doing that reading, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed providing it to you. Now, until I see you next month, remember one thing, and one thing always, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.